In this video, I want to discuss strings in a bit more detail and also introduce the idea of storing values in variables. We'll cover variables in the video after next, but I'll actually introduce them here. So we'll continue using our Hello World project, but let's create a new Python file for this video. So we're going to open our project pane. I'm going to right click on the project name, click on New and choose Python file. And we'll call this one strings. I'll just close the project pane by double clicking on the file name here, strings.py, so you can see what we're doing. Now in Python, strings can be enclosed in either double or single quotes, as I've mentioned previously. Let's just go through and type in a couple of examples, noting that these are all valid Python strings. So first one, we're going to start with: today is a good day to learn Python. You can see that's valid. Next line, using single quotes, Python is fun. Next line, print, double quotes, Python, single quote S, strings are easy to use. And on line 4, I'm going to type print, parentheses again, single quote. We can even include double quotes, quotes in strings. Right. So unlike some other languages, like Perl, there's no difference between single or double quotes in Python. However, if you start a string with one type, then you must finish it with the same type, and we've talked about that previously. If you need to include a single quote in a string, then use double quotes to enclose a string, like in the third example above. And similarly, if your string will include double quotes, then enclose the string in single quotes, as we've done on line 4. Now we can also concatenate strings to make longer ones using plus. Let's go ahead and type print, parentheses, double quotes, hello, plus, double quotes again, world with a space at the start there. So that joins the two words together to make the single string hello world. So that's called string concatenation. Python isn't going to perform addition on the two strings, it just joins them together or concatenates them. So I'm going to run the program to check that it prints what we expect, but remember to check the drop down in the top right hand corner and right click in the editor to run the correct program, otherwise you'll run hello world.py by mistake. So if we do that without changing that and run it, note that we're getting the hello world output and not the program output from this program, which could be a bit confusing for you. So we want to right click in here instead, click on run the first time. By doing that, we're now running this program and noting that in the top right-hand corner, the drop-down is now showing strings, being the current program that we're running. And you can see that in the case of line 5, we've got hello world showing the two strings concatenated together to form one string, and we've got the single quotes and double quotes showing as per the examples on lines 3 and 4, and the rest of the text as per what we've set up. All right, so we can also store the strings in variables, and then concatenation makes more sense. So let's go ahead and do that. So I can come down here. I can type greeting equals hello in double quotes. Name equals, we'll type Bruce in double quotes. I'm going to put a comment here, hash. If we want a space, we can add that too. So we can type print, left to right parentheses, and within the parentheses we can type greeting, noting that I've just typed a G, and IntelliJ helpfully gives us a menu that we can select from, and if we've got the menu options selected that we want, we can use the up and down arrow keys, by the way, but greeting is what we want. I'm going to press enter there. It saves us a bit of typing. So I can then add plus, a single quote with a space in it, plus, I can put in an N for name, press enter. And if we run the program now, you can see the string's been concatenated to produce the output. So to make this even more useful, we could use the input function to read in a name from the keyboard. So let's go ahead and do that. So where we've got name defined on line 7, let's change that to be name equals. We'll delete the text Bruce in double quotes, and instead we'll make an input, parentheses, double quotes, please enter your name and a space, then a closing double quote and right parentheses. The input function displays the text provided to it, then waits for text to be entered at the keyboard. So I'm going to right click and run the program. Now when you run the program, click into the run window with the mouse, or you can use Alt-4 on a PC before typing your name. So I'm going to come into here and I'm just going to double click it. I'm going to type Tim with a capital T. When you press enter, the text you typed is stored in the variable name. This is the code on line 7, and then used by the print function to show the greeting. So if we press enter, we can now see the output, hello Tim. So that's pretty cool. Our programs can get input from the user. To do that, we call the input function and then assign the value it returns to a variable. I mentioned function return values in the slide at the end of the last video. So here the return value of the input function is whatever text the user enters. So we assign that to the variable name on line 7. Assignment is done using the equal symbol, and anything on the right of the equal symbol is evaluated first before the assignment happens. So looking at line 7, that means the input function is called first. When it finishes, which happens when the user presses enter, the value it returns is assigned to our variable name. So let's actually come in here and type in print below the input line, print greeting. I probably should have done this before. Greeting plus name, because I've added the space down here on line 11, but I didn't do it on line 8 to show you what it's like without the space. So let's run that again. Click into the run window, Tim. You can see hello Tim without the space and also hello Tim with the space. So as you can see now on lines 8 and 11, the value of name is printed out. Name isn't enclosed in speech marks, and that's because it's not a string literal. It's the name of a variable, and Python uses the value whenever it sees the name in our case, in our code. We'll talk about variables more in a video after the next one. First though, I want to finish discussing strings by looking at the escape character, and we'll be doing that in the next video.